broad overview of how you plan risks and opportunities. So when you identify risks, you have to plan. There is this 5-stage process wherein you plan, identify, assess your risks and opportunities, you handle them, and you finally validate them. Yes. So you have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan to identify risks and opportunities. The risks and opportunities can be identified by brainstorming, interviews, checklists, and analytical techniques. Once you do all this, you assess the probability of the impact. You do a qualitative and quantitative analysis, and then you finally handle all these risks and opportunities. Generally, there are 4 things which are done with the risk. You either avoid the risk, you transfer the risk, or you control it, and otherwise you accept the risk as it is. So similarly, opportunities can be enhanced, shared, exploited, or ignored. And finally, you validate all these things. And this has to happen in a cycle so that your risk and opportunity process is in line with the requirements of the standard. So section 7 of the standard talks about support. So under support, you have 5 different sections. There are resources, competence, awareness, communication, and documented information. So this standard talks about resources. So monitoring and measuring resources. Just as a broad example, I will tell you that this standard even looks at auditors as a resource. So given any situation, you have to see that all auditors are monitored and measured, and given a situation, they all say that this is similar. They report a similar idea on how the situation is. So as a resource, auditors also need to be monitored and measured. And the general documentation structure followed by this ISO 9001:2015 is as follows. You have the central document, the quality manual, then there are the different procedures under the manual, and finally there are the databases, the additional documents, and the different instructions, which are a general documentation structure of the ISO 9001:2015. So under section 8 talks about operation. You plan and control your operation, define the different criteria. The requirements for products and services are defined. And in case there are design and development activities, these are also done here. And in case an organization goes to an external provider for products and services, how these need to be controlled is defined in section 8.4. Production and service provision is also defined in this section. And before you deliver a product or a service to a customer, how it has to be released. This is also defined in section 8.6. And when there are non-conforming outputs, how these need to be handled. These are defined in section 8. And performance evaluation is done in section 9. To monitor, measure, analyze, and do performance evaluation. Section 9.2 talks about internal audit, and 9.3 about management review. How management review has to happen in the organization, what are the different inputs and outputs for management review. These are defined in section 9. And finally, you have section 10, which talks about improvement. Improvement and the different non-conformity and corrective actions are part of improvement, and how continual improvement can happen in the organization. The requirement of the standard is defined in this section. So if you do a structural comparison between ISO 9001, 2008 and this 2015 standard, the previous standard had 8 sections and this standard has 10 sections, as I told you. So if you see section 1, 2, 3 are the same. Section 4, they have brought in the context of the organization, which is new. Section 5, instead of management responsibility, they call it leadership. The requirements of how the leadership has to work and achieve results is defined in section 5. And section 6 in the older standard talked about resource management. Here it talks about planning and the different risks and opportunities faced by the organization. Section 7 talks about product realization. This is now in the section 8, which talks about operation, how the product or service has to be produced and delivered. So this is brought into section 8. So section 7 of the standard talks about support. Support is the people, competence, communication, documented information. These are the different support activities required for an organization. And section 9 talks about performance evaluation. And finally, section 10 about improvement. So once you set up your documentation, how a quality management system audit happens, you have a stage 1 documentation audit to see that documentation is adequate to meet the requirements of the standard. And then you have a stage 2 audit to ascertain the degree of conformity of implementation to the 9001 criteria. So surveillance and recertification for the 9001 standard. Third-party certification by certification bodies are valid for 3 years. And surveillance audits are done every year to monitor the effectiveness and improvement of the quality management system. And recertification audits are held before the expiry of the current certification. So before the end of the 3rd year, recertification audits take place to see that you are in continuation with your certificate. So an audit team leader prepares an audit report. So it is a clear, accurate and concise record which has to have the following details. It has to have the audit objective, the audit criteria, audit scope, audit client, and audit locations. So it has to have the details of the audit team, auditee participants in the audit, the date, locations, and where the audit activities are conducted, the audit findings and the related evidence, and the conclusions also have to be there. Finally, a statement on the degree to which the audit criteria have been met. This has to be there in the standard. This has to be there in all the audit reports. So once the audit is done, the lead auditor does an audit for follow-up. It is usually done in the next surveillance audit once the certificate is issued. And in the follow-up, the status of the corrective action and non-conformities are reviewed by the auditor, and they verify the completeness and effectiveness of the corrective actions. And the auditor records the outcome of the follow-up and reports it back to the certification body. So I think that is all what I have for today. Thank you for your time.